Good night, everyone, and thanks for tuning into another episode of Sports In. Before we talk sports, here is a slight preview of what's coming up on the show tonight. For this segment is PNG Rugby Union President Paul Siwi, who will be here to speak about 5 of our PNG Cassowary's players who were selected into the Oceania Rugby Women's Combined side, as well as PNG Hunters coach Stanley Tepend, who will give an update on their game this weekend against the Burleigh Bears. Those are the guests who I will be featuring on the show tonight. Alright, big games over the weekend was the NRL Round 18 match between North Queensland Cowboys and West Tigers. The Cowboys posted the highest score of this season with a 74-0 whooping over the Tigers. It was a massive, and we look forward for the North Queensland posting a lot of upsets in the remaining NRL games. Alright, that's the brief of the weekend sporting events I've witnessed over the weekend. Let's now take a quick look at the weekend scoreline, starting with the recap of PNG NRLC Round 12 results, which saw the Mandy Muruks 32 over the Mount Hagen Eagles 4, Anger Milks 22 defeating Bintango Goroka Lahanis on 10. This is the 11th straight win of the Anger Milk side, and this is a history for the competition itself. Late Tigers 30 defeating the Kimbe Cutters 18, Sipik Pride 36 over the Gurias 26, Vipers 24 defeating the Barries on 10, and the Wigmen 22 causing an upset over Gulf Iso 8. To the Capital Rugby Union results, Piggies 14 defeated Nova 10, Brothers 38 gave a huge margin scoreline to Harlequins on 8 points, Valianters 22, MBB Marlins on 16, Defence 36 crushing the Crusaders on 10 points. To the Port Moresby softball semi-finals result in the B grade division, Gazelle 6 defeated Defence 5, Kikila Cats 9 defeated AS 5, and for the A grade, the Power 5 defeated United Brothers 2, Gazelle 7 defeated Defence on 1. To the Women's Conference League Round 1 results, Ekari United 12 defeated Central Amoana 0, Alid FC 8 defeating Benny's FC 0, Port Moresby Strikers 3 defeated South's Inamo 2, Morobe Wowens 3 defeated Rainylay FC on 2, Lay City Dwellers 1 defeating Sipik FC 0. For the men's conference result, Port Moresby Strikers 2 causing the upset of the opening game, beating Ekari on 1, Morobe Wowens 3 defeating United Islands 2, Lay City Dwellers 3 also overpowering Medane FC on 1, and Gal Komara and Lay City FC match ended in a draw with both teams on 2-all. For the NRL Round 18 results, Sharks 52 defeating Dragons 16, Rabbitohs 28 defeating Warriors 6, Panthers 34 defeating the Melbourne Storms on 16 points, Raiders 26 defeating the Titans 22, Cowboys 74 defeating West Tigers 0, Broncos 24 defeating the Dolphins on 16, Knights 66 defeating the Bulldogs on 0. To the Hostplus Cup Round 16 results, Falcons 24 walking over the Bears on 18, Hunters 14 also defeating the Capras 8, Tigers 36 defeating Pride on 10, Dolphins there 24 overpower. Dolphins and Blackhawks ended in a draw with both teams on 24-all. Magpies 48 defeating the Clydesdales 22, Cutters 36 defeating Jets on 20, and the Seagulls 30 points defeating the North Devils on 16. And that's the recap of the weekend's scoreline. Alright, we'll take a short break now and we will return with more here on Sports In. Welcome back, and if you just tuned in, you're watching Sports In. For For this segment is PNG Rugby Union President Paul Siwi. Mr. Siwi, who joins me to talk about the 5 Cassowary players who were selected to be part of the Oceania Rugby Women's Combined Team following the recent Oceania Women's Rugby Championship held at the Gold Coast. Thank you, Mr. Siwi, for joining us tonight, and welcome on board the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Good night, everyone. Happy to be on the show.
All right, Mr. Siwi, we will get straight into our first question. As alluded to, our 5 women who were selected, namely Fatima Rama, Joanne Logona, Mari Biama, Naomi Kelly, and Joanne Butler, to be part of the Oceania Rugby Women's Combined side. Just explain a bit about how the selection process took place.
We don't play a lot of women's rugby in Papua New Guinea, but at all costs we try to mobilize the women. In most way they play in CRU and in NCDRU. In Ley they have women's rugby. In Agen they play the sevens. In Goroka they play the sevens. So the scouts went around finding out the best talent. Even though we do not have the right competitions, they find the talent that can participate. So they brought them all here, and they had a match down at Sayuid Murray Stadium to select the PNG team to go out and play.
All right. With this achievement now, with our 5 women making it to be part of the Oceania combined side, does this now paves way for women's rugby? And does this also provide the opportunity for our local players to sign contracts with overseas-based clubs?
It's a perfect opportunity for the girls. They can, they're vying for 7 spots. So for the 5 girls who are going down to participate, the ball is in their courts. The onus is on them. They have to, meet all the requirements in whatever is asked of them, and 1 or 2 of them can make it into the side, or all 5 of them can make it into the side. I don't doubt these 5 players because they've been in our national teams for nearly over 5-6 years, and they are exposed to training at high levels. They're exposed to our high performance training. So I'm hoping that some of them make it into the Super Rugby side.
We're looking forward to that. This will be a milestone for rugby, in particular the PNG Rugby Women's Squad. One of the things that I've noticed in the women's participation in the last 2 rugby championship in Gold Coast, the performance of our women's team in this recent championship was poor, and it also brought a lot of criticism from the wider public. As the president, what was the error caused, and how does PNG Rugby plan to improve on this going forward?
When we send the team out, we have all girls playing local rugby in Papua New Guinea. They went on to play teams that play in Super Rugby. The Australian, the Fiji team, they play in the Super Rugby already. They're already there in the top league. The Samoa girls and the Tongan girls, they either playing in Samoa, they're playing in Australia, New Zealand, or US. So they play in the big leagues. Yeah. So we are challenging, established women, players who have been there in the big leagues. So we will keep on trying. We will not beat them, but we will keep on trying. We have improved our scores from the last time. We've improved our scores. I mean, if you think about them giving us 78-0, imagine on the final game between the last recent game between Australia and New Zealand. New Zealand beat Australia 50-0. So, it just happens on the day. When we're ready for it, we can play the rugby.
All right, thanks for giving us that update. Just before we let you go, the Code of Rugby Union has submerged over the years. Under your capacity as the president, what are your plans and vision that you would like to achieve going forward?
Well, we've spent last 1 year nearly 1.5 years, we have we tried to get all the processes back in order, getting rugby back, back rolling. So we've gone out of our way. I compare rugby with any other sport. I think we've done well. We've started the game in Daru. We started the game in Daru. We've started in Wewak. We've started in Madang. We've started in Ley, in Goroka, in Hagen, in Mendi. This game is being played in Manus, in New Island. New Island, I think, in maybe 5 or 6 other sub-unions in New Island. In Namatanai and in Lir, we're also playing in Buka. I see last 2 weeks ago I was up in Goroka. I see the 7th team from Arab, the Black Orchids, they were in camp at NSI. I'm very proud of their preparation for rugby. And they were playing in the local Goroka League. We have games in Goroka as well. We have the 2 league unions in Mosby, so rugby is taking shape. It's taking shape, and it's a big organization, and it'll take some time to get all the processes and all the mechanisms right, but it doesn't stop us from starting and moving forward. Hopefully, in the process, we will do better.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Siwi, for your time. It was a pleasure having you on board, and we wish you all the best moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, and good night.
And that was the president of PNG Rugby Union, Paul Siwi. Welcome back to Sports Scene. In this segment, we were fortunate to catch up with PNG Hunters coach Stanley Tepend at the National Football Stadium during the team's training session this week. Tepend was able to give an update on the team's preparation as they prepare to take on competition leaders Burleigh Bears in the Hostplus Cup Round 17 fixture at the NFS. So let's hear what Coach Tepend has to say about his team.
Thank you, Stan, for coming on Sports Scene. Just a few questions on your games against Burleigh Bears, who are the competition leaders. What are your plans on how to contain the Bears in this match?
Yeah, the Bears are really good side. Obviously, they're leading the comp. So when we had our first game down at Burleigh, they played exceptionally well. Started off really well. I think they scored like 3 tries in the first 10 minutes, but between now and then we played a lot of football. They have as well, but look, we're looking forward to the challenge. This time around they'll be here at our home ground, so although we would have liked to have kept our winning record at the NFS clean, there's been a couple of teams that have caught us off, and they've actually won here. So with Burleigh, look, it's a challenge for us, and if anything, we'll be going back and probably revisiting the game down in Burleigh in patches, just to give us that extra motivation how they played down there, and now we can return that loss down there when they travel here. So we'll be motivated to really perform well.
All right, Stan, what have Hunters been? I understand that Hunters have not been really consistent with winning games this season. What are some areas that needs improvement in order to get back to the winning sector?
For our boys, it's just every week. I think preparation each week is a really key factor for our boys. We've had good wins, and then we go down the following week. So I think it's a mixture of preparation to just those in-betweens. We often speak about the in-betweens when one game finishes on a high, just picking ourselves up, getting everything right again for the next week. So that's a key. It's more so educational learning for the boys as well. Just getting up each week and doing it over and over again. I think most of these boys have played in the Digicel Cup, and that's our semi-professional local comp, and it's a big step playing at this level. So I think it's the preparation, just getting that week that right every week. That's probably been the biggest focus for us over the last couple of weeks.
Hunters currently sit on 10 placing on the Hostplus Cup ladder. Are there plans to improve on in the coming games? Understanding.
Yeah, we've got a target to make the finals, top 8. There's still just under 2 months of football. I think the seven rounds still left. After the Burleigh game, there'll be 6. So there's a bye in there somewhere as well. So look, it's still achievable. Our goal to make the finals. We haven't made the finals the last 3 seasons, I think. So the good thing is we've got home games. We're more calmer, more there's family support around for the boys, which is always encouraging. So for us, look, it's just making sure that we still hit our target and making the finals, but it's just finishing off the season really well.
All right, a few Hunters players have been invited earlier this year by NRL Club Dolphins to train under coach Wayne Bennett. How has this opportunity helped the players and the club as a whole?
Yeah, it's enormous. I think we don't have that affiliation with any NRL clubs. I think all the other Hostplus Cup teams have direct access to the NRL club. So for us, it was a huge opportunity, and we're grateful for the Red Cliff Dolphins and Wayne Bennett. He's always got a soft spot for PNG, and we're grateful to have those players go down. Rod Ty's been the only one going down back and forth, and you can see some improvements in him. And what he brings back, and it reflects to the other boys as well. Him spending time down there, coming up here, and whatever little advice that he picks up down there, the boys rub off. So that's been good. Hopefully we can keep that going for the seasons to come, and also it can inspire the other players like Digital Cup players coming through. So now they've got that pathway, direct access to NRL club. So it's a big positive.
All right, thanks for that on the update about our boys training with the Dolphins. Just about Morea, he has been dynamic for this season with 14 appearances, 9 tries, 10 try assists, as well as he has been good in defense and attack as well. What do you think about his performance?
Yeah, Morea's been really, he's actually surprised a lot of us. I think he's a talented player. And at the start, he was doing some things that, was extremely out of the, unbelievable. But as we progressed through, I think the more that teams were doing video on him, and he had a patch there a couple of weeks where he didn't score tries, and they were targeting him. We worked out on how to put less responsibility on him, so to free him up a bit. And the last few weeks he's got back to the Morea we know. So he's been good. He needs his teammates, and he realizes that the teammates need him as well. So it's a team game, but he's one player that's a strike weapon for us. And we've been working out our best way so he can be both good in defense and attack.
Just last question. Lastly, with Morea's consistent performance week in, week out, does this guarantee him? Is he close to wearing the Kumus jumper?
Look, it's still there's still a few games, or he's probably got a few more good games. Probably yes, it's probably a big call for me to make at this stage, and not putting pressure on Morea and that. But look, he's developed into something that, obviously. Like Kumul's jersey would not be too far away. He just has to be consistent the remaining games, and then hopefully that can take care of itself. So look, we've had some good fullbacks in the Kumuls over the last few years. Mead and Alex Johnson recently in the World Cup, and Morea is a different type of player, and I'm sure that if he finishes the season well, I'm sure he'll be close to being picked.
All right, thank you, Stan, for joining us on this program, and all the best to you.
And that was the PNG Hunters coach Stanley Tepend giving an insight on their preparation going into the must-win home game against the Burleigh Bears. One of the important points highlighted by Coach Tepend in his concluding remarks was about the performance of elusive fullback Morea, who has been an outstanding bloke in his first season with the Hunters. Anyway, we wish the Hunters all the best in their game this weekend and may the best team win. All right, we'll take a short break now, and when we return, we will wrap things right here on Sports Scene. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Scene. Before we go into the weekend's preview, let's take a quick look at the Queensland and New South Wales sides that were announced this week for Game 3 of the Ample State of Origin series next week, Wednesday in Sydney. As you can see, there were few changes made in the respective teams, with the Maroons going into this match with the aim of wrapping up the series with a whitewash, while the Blues will use the home crowd advantage to deny the Billy Slater coach side of a 15-year drought. All right, let's now take a look at the weekend previews for what's coming up this weekend, starting with the PNG NRLC Round 13 fixtures. Hunters will take on the Mandy Muruks, Gurias taking on the Vipers, Gulf Iso taking on the Barries, Mioks going up against the Mount Hagen Eagles, Lay Tigers taking on Goroka Lahanis, and Sipik Pride taking on Wigman to wrap up round 13 of the PNG NRLC competition. To the Port Moresby softball preliminary final draws in the B grade division, Defence will take on Kikila Cats. Winner of this match will meet a Gazelle in the grand final of the B grade. And to the A grade side, United Brothers will take on Gazelle. Winner of this match will meet Power in the A grade grand final, which is next weekend. To the NRL round 19 draws, West Tigers will take on the Cronulla Sharks, Dragons taking on Raiders, Eels going up against the Warriors, Rabbitohs taking on Bulldogs, and Titans going up against the Dolphins. Teams on bye this weekend is the Broncos, Cowboys, Knights, Panthers, Roosters, Sea Eagles, and the Melbourne Storms. To the Hostplus Cup round 7 draws, we'll see the Jets taking on Blackhawks, Hunters going up against the Bears, the Magpies taking on the Falcons, Clydesdales going up against Tigers, Pride taking on the winner Manly Seagulls, Tweedhead Seagulls going up against the Dolphins, and buys for this weekend is Capras, Cutters, and the North Devils. And that was the weekend previews for what's coming up this weekend. All the highlights of the NRL and Hostplus Cup, so support your team to the best. Unfortunately, this is where I get to go, but before I do that, if there's any stories or sporting events that you would like us to provide media coverage to, please do not hesitate to contact us on the following details on the screen. Call us on 312-9229, or you can email sportscene@emtv.com.pg, or you can visit us at Garden City Level 2 Boroko. Don't forget to drop your name and your contact details so we can get back to you. We'll also be uploading all the content of tonight's show on our Sports Scene Facebook page, so do hit like and share as much as you can. Again, that's about it for tonight. On behalf of me and the rest of my team here, thanks for joining us on this episode of Sports Scene. It was my pleasure having your company, and we shall do this again, same time, same place, right here on your number one to watch, EMTV. Until then, it's good night and God bless.